Good morning, everyone. I'm Ruth Ramos from GIZ. I'm a technical assistant for the REDD Plus project. So this morning, I will be discussing our paper integrating REDD Plus project site experiences in the formulation of the M&E system of the National Greening Program. So for this presentation, I will not be discussing the technical details of the project, particularly on the MRV system which will be discussed just briefly this morning. And we will focus on the structure, process of the M&E in the project. So for the overview, the rationale and project background, the MRV system or the measurement, reporting, and verification system. Third is the DNR GIZ REDD project results-based M&E system, learnings from project experience, and the National Greening Program, in some conclusion and emerging lessons. So what is REDD? REDD is a concept for forest and climate protection. It is an innovative mechanism for developing countries like the Philippines to receive incentives for protecting and sustainably managing their forests. So if you're asking what the plus means, it means conservation of forest carbon stocks or protection, sustainable management of forests, for management and enhancement of forest carbon stocks or rehabilitation. So it is a mechanism developed for Annex 1 countries to give financial resources, knowledge, and capacity building to implement REDD in developing countries. So it also has co-benefits, livelihoods for communities, biodiversity conservation, and ecosystem services. So REDD Plus, as I have mentioned, is a performance-based incentive mechanism. REDD Plus will only work if we have a working and active MRV system which sets the baseline for monitoring and evaluation of the concept. With this, governance plays a major role in implementing REDD because for effective implementation, governance is important in giving comprehensive policy and institutionalized frameworks for institutional and political arrangements in implementing REDD Plus. So for our project, the DNR GIZ REDD Plus project, the climate-relevant modernization of forest policy and piloting of REDD Plus in the Philippines aims to improve forest policy applied by DNR LGUs and local population for the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. I will not be discussing the project. Our fact sheets can be located at the entrance of this hall. So we work together with DNR Forest Management Bureau or FMB in implementing the project. So I will be focusing more on the piloting of REDD Plus in Southern Leyte particularly. We have established a pilot site in Southern Leyte involving different LGUs and POs. We have 5 LGU partners, Silago, Sogod, Bontoc, Tomas Opus, and Maasin City, with also 7 CDF and POs. So what is an MRV system? The purpose of an MRV system is to assess and report on anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions by sources and removals by sinks related to forest land during the third phase of REDD Plus. If you're not familiar with REDD Plus, it has actually 3 phases. The first phase is the development of a national strategy or action plan. The Philippines already have this plan. It's called the Philippine National REDD Plus Strategy, wherein our REDD project is anchored on, and this is also the basis for the project. The phase 2 is the moving to implementation for capacity building and demonstration of activities in which we are participating in. And the third phase, or the last phase, is the results-based action. It's the full implementation of REDD Plus. So I will not be talking more on the details of the MRV system, but what is important to know here is that through the project or the concept of REDD+, we developed a database wherein we integrate the three elements, carbon, community, and biodiversity studies to develop a system where we can have reference for emission level and reference level. The project has conducted 3 studies for baseline. First is the forest resources assessment, socioeconomic baseline survey, and the biodiversity resources assessment. First, for the carbon, in the forest resources assessment, we have assessed 3 species diversity in southern Leyte. We have established 200 plots, 100 plots inside the project site, 50 outside, and 50 from the province of Leyte. The socioeconomic baseline survey assessed 8 indicators, 3 of which are listed here: demographic characteristics, access to land and natural resources, farm characteristics, and upland farming system. The project was able to interview 797 households in 93 barangays, both in the project area and outside as control. For the biodiversity resources assessment, the project assessed habitat characteristics in 6 municipalities: species richness, species population, occupancy, and habitat extent. We were able to assess 229 flora species and 212 species terrestrial vertebrates. What is interesting for the biodiversity assessment was we were able to look for 2 new frog species. So we are the lower part of the presentation. And all of these assessments were actually recorded. The location of these assessment areas were recorded through GPS, and wherein we can go back after 3 to 5 years when we will be assessing the impact of REDD+ in the area. So again, community, biodiversity, and carbon, which I presented for the 3 reports, will be forming a subnational MRV system. Why subnational? Because we, for the UN REDD program, they will be elaborating more on the national level MRV, and the experiences on the ground in Leyte will feed into this system for the national level. So how do we manage results in the project? This is the 10-step results-based management and evaluation system based on the OECD model. And for our project, we also undergone through these steps, or still undergoing until now. So for the first 3 steps, together with the partner DNR and even for the local government unit and POs on the field level, we have identified specific outputs and agreed on the outcomes with the partners and established information flows, how to relay reports and even issues from the field level to the national level. Through coordination, we have undergone several meetings with the partners both on the local and national level. So we also identified how we will monitor the results and who will do the data gathering for each result. For the 4th step is the MRV. I have also elaborated on this for the baselines. And then for the 5th one, linked to institutional objectives and processes. The key to having at least a working M&E system for us was to level off with the partners and not create new systems for them, but actually strengthen what is already there. For the next one is the monitoring of results. Reliable data should be collected in a timely manner, and through meetings, regular meetings with the partners, we are able to get this data. For the evaluation of each intervention, we actually experienced this during midterm reporting and annual reports. For the report of findings, the output, outcome, and impacts of the projects are discussed during regular RBM and E meetings with the partners, both from the field level and the national level. For the ninth step, for the use of findings, these are all feed into the steering committee, and for decision making, you're able to get the data which we are generated from the field level up to the national level. And for the last one, since we developed with the partner all the information flow, and they also agreed with all of the system in place, we actually hope that this system will also be sustained even after the project. So learnings from project experience on M&E. I will be discussing the 5 success factors, which are actually from the Capacity Works model for sustainable development developed by GIZ. For the strategy, we have a well-defined strategy, jointly developed indicators with partners. We have an anchor strategy through the PNRPS and consultations with partners. And for the indicators for the project RBN system, we have considered mainly inputs from the partners, the DNR. For cooperation, multi-level cooperation with various stakeholders, not only at the national level, but also we have established cooperation at the local level, not only with local government units, but with also TOs. For the steering structure, we have created a structure at the national and the regional or provincial levels. For the project, the provincial government also provided a venue to do steering activities through the provincial technical working group, wherein issues and other concerns are discussed for the implementation of the project and other concerns. For the process, existence of a results-based management framework and annual plan of operations are not just updated but also discussed during quarterly meetings and during annual evaluation. For the learning innovation, opportunities for experience sharing and interaction. Since REDD Plus for this project, there are only 3 here in the Philippines, and the other 2 are in Palawan and in Quezon. Most of our partners are being invited as resource persons for regional and national events to share their experiences, not only on the technical side but also for M&E. For the NGP, the main goal is to plant 715 million trees to 1.5 billion trees in 6 years. So it works under the National Convergence Initiative in collaboration with different organizations. We at GIZ wanted to feed into the emerging M&E guideline to monitor the status of the NGP. We wanted to, we actually provided inputs for the development of the M&E system of the NGP to fully operationalize the project. We have provided them input such as experiences on establishing the MRB at the local level and establishing and operationalizing steering committee at the local level, and not to focus on the outputs, but on higher outcomes and impacts of the project. So, conclusion and emerging lessons. First is transparent governance is essential in putting in place a monitoring and evaluation system. Through the experience of the project, working with the local government units, we believe that these LGUs and COs at the field level actually play a big role in influencing any activity at the national level. And also for the involvement of multi-stakeholders, it is also, based on our experience, it is also best to invest on leveling up with the partners, especially for developing an M&E system. The quarterly monitoring meetings serve as the venue for discussing with multi-stakeholders not only project-related concerns, but also other concerns that may affect the project, which are not really discussed in any other venue. For the third one, potential application of systems to the NGP is possible, but needs reconfirmation from the implementers, NCI, and most importantly, the DNR. As I said, we have provided inputs for the M&E guidance for the NGP, but they have not finalized it yet. But we believe that our experience in the project will play a very good, will give a very good input to this system. And lastly, REDD Plus requires robust MRV system with stringent requirements, but in a way, the system will actually work efficiently and effectively according to not only for the local standards, but also for the international standards. So basically, since most of the I've presented are only maybe baselines, but we must also remember that what we cannot measure for M&E, we cannot manage. So this is a nice quote to remember during this course. Good morning.